So welcome back, and I've got some very exciting news, I think. Exciting because this is pretty much finished mechanically wise. Probably still some cosmetic work to do on it. However, I have finally got it to a point where it's keeping time, and it's been running for about 2 days with winding up. Have not adjusted the hands. It took ages, probably about a whole week, maybe even more than a week, to tinker with the hairspring and regulator and everything to get it keeping time. I ended up having to probably leave about 1.5 coils worth of tail out the back of the spring because that replacement one was just so long. But that's better than being too short. So as you can see up there, Metamec telling 32 past 3. And this clock is telling almost 34 past 3. So if I just move this back to how it should be, hang on, let me just check the actual time on my computer. Alright, well actually, the real time, the Metamec's actually wrong. The real time on my computer, according to my computer, is in fact 3:34. And looking at the hand, it's pretty much on 3:34. I think we have a clock that's actually more accurate than the electric clock. No, just kidding. I haven't adjusted the electric clock properly. But this is probably one of my most accurate mechanical clocks now. Ages to tinker with, probably because I spent so much attention on it compared to other stuff, because I'm sort of attached to it more than anything else now. I'm leaving this glass lens on there because it actually works better than the Smiths one I took it off. Rest to do on it, probably maybe repaint it one day. I think this is the original colour up there. I'm not a huge fan of that greeny blue colour, to be honest. But if I was going to repaint it, it's such an unusual item that I'll probably either leave it as it is right now, because it's not too bad. It's scratched up, but that's all part of the character, I think. I'm missing that thing on the top. Don't know what would have gone there. I think it would have been some kind of little I've got this decorative bit like that, just have something around the top. But I'm not too bothered, to be honest, because I mean, it works very well. What have I done since? Well, since I have managed to get the alarm fixed. What I did was I took the alarm escape wheel out. Somehow I did it without having to remove all the other parts of the mechanism. And I got this tool, I think it's a Bradle. And if you look at the construction of the gear, and I'll get one like it just to show you what I did. So here we have a similar gear, a wheel. This is the third or fourth wheel from that Vichaz Russian clock, which I took the hairspring and balance wheel out of for this. As you can see, it's a cut pinion instead of a lantern pinion. Let me just focus it for you. And you can see it's all been cut very nicely with a tool, machine or some kind, instead of having a lantern pinion where it's bits of pin arranged in there and then clamped together. Cut pinions like this are more difficult to work on, but they, as in terms of replacing the pins and stuff, but I think they're more like a high quality feature than lantern pinions. They are definitely easier to clean, and this is the same kind of construction we have in this. I don't know which. I assumed that lantern pinions were cheaper to make. However, this clock being a pretty inexpensive alarm clock, probably cheaper made than a 66 which has lantern pinions. Maybe the cut pinions, were also used in that kind of thing as well. So what I did was, remember that the brass wheel, the brass gear on the wheel, whatever it is, was slipping around the shaft. And that's because these bits of the pinion which poke out the back, they usually stamp down like that, and they just weren't down tight enough. So what I did was I took this tool and I put it in that little gap in there. Hang on a minute, focus it for you. Yeah, I put this tool in those little gaps there. I did this one, and this one, so it's like 3 in a triangle, and I just hammered it. And by hammering it, it sort of distorted the brass a tiny bit. Not so much that it ruined the gear or made it out of alignment or anything, but just enough so it wasn't a perfect circle, so this couldn't rotate in it. And that worked very well, and now that's in there, no glue or anything required. So that works now very well. And I'll just demonstrate. Another thing I've done is, remember the alarm button. I can't remember if I did this before I recorded the last video or not, but anyway, I'll show it anyway, in case, just even if it is done twice. Yeah, this, I have bent the very tip of this rod, because you can remove this nut and that stopper button as one piece, so you can still disassemble the clock. You just have to screw it in with some pliers instead. And what I did was I put that in there, and then I very, very slightly bent the end of the rod, the brass rod, at a slight angle so it can't come out. And it does get stuck if you pull it, but that will never happen usually. It never gets that high up anyway. So I'll just show you what it's like. So as you wind it up, you can see that the button should pop out a little bit, like it does. And this is completely made from scratch, so I'm pretty proud of it. Oh, went too far with that one. So there we go. Just like that, and that works very well. So now it's working, and the alarm works and everything else works on it. I think the next step is to try it out as an actual alarm clock, like I do with most of these things. So I will do that tonight, probably, and then I will report how it did. This has not stopped for a couple of days, based on the fact I've just been winding it up. And yeah, it works very, very well. So, a very unusual clock, in my opinion. Not so much unusual in the fact of what it is, but unusual this particular item being, you know, being it. So I'll leave it at that, and hopefully this continues to work for as long as it has.